Welcome back to Watergum Online. Today we're going to talk about one of our most popular citizen science programs, the amazing world of waterbugs. We're going to talk about where they live, what they are, why they're important, and how we study them. Okay, let's get started. So, what are waterbugs? Well, waterbugs are macroinvertebrates, and that means any animal without a backbone that we can also see without help from a microscope. They come in lots of different shapes and sizes, and some of them will stay in the water for their whole lives, but others you may recognize better in their adult form. Things like dragonflies, stoneflies, and mosquitoes. Now let's go and have a look at the different habitats they live in. Waterbugs live in water, as their name suggests. So that could mean a dam, or a pond, or a creek, like where we are today. In a moment, we're going to show you some microhabitats within a creek system, because that is where we study them. I'm now standing next to a riffle. A riffle is an area in your creek or stream that has lots of rocks on top of one another. Now, when the water runs over these rocks, the rocks cause it to move very, very fast. And this in turn creates lots of oxygen. And that keeps our waterbugs healthy and happy. This next habitat is called an edge. Now, an edge usually has lots of logs, sticks, tree roots, and overhanging vegetation like this plant here. This is a great hangout for our waterbugs because they like to hang on to this vegetation and it makes them feel safe. So why are waterbugs so important? Well, firstly, they're a vital food source for some of Australia's most iconic species, like the platypus, who also lives in this creek. Secondly, they keep the creek nice and healthy. And how do they do that? Well, lots of them eat leaves and decaying matter, which keeps the creek nice and clean. Secondly, they aerate the sediment, which keeps the water nice and clear. And thirdly, they predate on each other. And this stops them becoming overpopulated and keeps everything in balance. Now it's time for you to see how we study waterbugs. And for that, we're going to need some equipment. We're going to need a good strong net to scoop up those waterbugs, a bucket to put our catch in, and also waders to keep us nice and dry and safe in the water. Now Rose is going to show us two ways to sample waterbugs. First, she's going to show us how to sample the edge. Now, if you watch what she's doing with her net, she's thrusting it into the edge of the creek and bumping the sides. This causes the waterbugs to let go of their vegetation and slip into her net. What she'll do now is wash her sample through the water, like this. This will clean her sample, getting rid of any extra nutrients. This way, we can ID the bugs better. Now Rose is showing you how we get a riffle sample. She's standing in that fast-moving water that's flowing over the pile of rocks, and she's twisting, turning with her feet. This loosens all the rocks and any water bugs that are hiding amongst them. When they get disturbed, they flow down with the water and straight into Rose's net. Now, to get a good sample, she's moving up the stream to try and find as many water bugs as we can. Look at her go! She looks like she's dancing. Now we're going to take a look at our sample. We've put our sample in this nice big plastic tray. This enables us to have a root through it and see what's in there. You can already see stuff moving around. When we find something, we're going to put it into this ice cube tray. This allows us to have a really close look and properly ID what we found. Here is our sampling equipment. We've got a spoon for scooping bugs up, a paintbrush that helps us pick them out gently, and a pipette for very small bugs. Once we've got them in our ice cube tray, we're then going to ID them using these magnifying glasses and our various ID books and tools. So as you can see, we found quite a few different types of water bug. Lots of different sizes and shapes. Look at this one. This is a stick caddisfly. He might look like a stick, but he's actually a water bug. This one is a dragonfly nymph. One day he will grow up and leave the water to be a real dragonfly. And this one is the one we're most excited to find because they're very sensitive to pollution. So if we find him, we know that the water is very healthy. He's actually called a stonefly nymph. However, we like to call him Fluffy Bum because he's got a very fluffy bum. Can you see? So now what we would normally do is we would try and ID all of our water bugs using our ID books. The reason we do this is so that we can learn something about the health of the waterway. These water bugs are a really good indicator of how healthy the waterway is. And that is because they have different tolerances to pollution. Do you remember our stonefly, our fluffy bum? Now he's really sensitive to pollution and we don't find him very often. So if we do find him, he gets a score of 10. However, our dragonfly nymph that we found here, he's quite tolerant to pollution. So he only gets a score of 3. What we do is we add up all the scores of all our water bugs and then we can learn something about this particular creek. And when we compare that to other creeks on the Gold Coast, we can call that actual scientific data. Now you know what water bugs are, where they live, why they're important, and how we study them. If you want to know more about our Waterbug Citizen Science program, you can go to www.watergum.org.